Good morning, everybody. I hope all of you are physically healthy, mentally very happy. So before we start our discussion class or enter into middle way, first everybody cultivate great compassion and bodhicitta. So everybody, we must realize all the Buddha teachings only mainly for the mental transformation. So many people who practice, study the Buddha teaching, Buddhism is mainly for kind of ritual to subdue like demons, spirit, and mainly for well-being. All these concepts are not correct. So the Buddha teaching is only for mental transformation. When we think, yes, a Buddha teaching, Buddhism is only about for mental transformation, then we should not think we no need to do recitation and chanting and prostration. So we need both, like a recitation, chanting, and ritual, also a practice, dharma, and the mental transformation. These two look like the two wings for the birth. So now we're going to study about entering to the middle way. At the beginning of the sixth bhumi, so we study about all the phenomena, none of them arising from self, arising from other, arising from both, arising from causeless. Mainly we study about all the phenomena not really arise from inherently, independently. Then we study about emptiness of the phenomena. Today we studied a little bit about the emptiness of the being, emptiness of the person. So when we study about emptiness, we not just merely follow the teaching. We should not just accept, what the teaching, what the master said. So when we study about emptiness, selflessness, so we need to use our own wisdom. We need to think by all our own mind, not just follow the teaching, not just only follow what the teacher said. So please, everybody, turn the page number, scene 29, page number 29, the sixth bhumi, chapter 6. Then the sentence number is 114, 114. So this is kind of conclusion about explaining about emptiness of the phenomena. So in this chapter, there's a lot of rejection about the Chitta Mantra point of view. So they reject the self-awareness, reject the all-basis mind, particularly from the Pasangika point of view, they reject, the not exist, the externally phenomena. The sentence number 114 is kind of conclusion. Because entities does not arise from no cause, from causes such as Ashwara. So Ashwara is a concept of a creator in the Hindu tradition. Ashwaras, from self, from other, from both. Then all the entities, all the phenomena, not really, do not arise from no cause. This one we can accept. From cause such as Ashwara. So this day, from the Christian tradition, they believe in God. The God is creator. According to the Islam tradition, they believe in Allah. Allah is the creator. According to Hindu tradition, the Ashwara is the creator, which is create everything. This notion also rejected by Buddhist, particularly from the Pasangika. Then from self, from other, from both. If thing not arise from no cause, no arise from creator, not arise from self, not arise from others, not arise from both, then how the things arise, exist, establish? Then the last sentence is the answer. They arise entirely through dependent. Entirely through dependent. So when we think about this last sentence, entirely through dependence. Then when we think about when we get angry for someone, the angry arises through dependence. Dependence, not only dependent other, also dependent ourselves. So when we get angry, we should not only blame the person, we also pardon who made angry ourselves. So when we have an attachment, the attachment arises through dependence. Dependence, the object, dependent on the subject. Attachment arises from both sides. Therefore, when we have a very strong attachment towards particular thing, we should not think the things is just beautiful from only their side. Our perception, our thoughts also contribute to appear as a beautiful, as a nice object. So they arise entirely through dependence. In that things originated entirely through dependence, then such as concept as set arising cannot withstand analysis. So this reasoning of dependent origination leads to sheds the entities, so the entire the mistakes of false view. So why we have so many misconcepts, misunderstanding about the phenomena? Because we don't understand everything, all entire phenomena arise through dependence. Therefore, we have all the misperceptions. Therefore, in that things originated entirely through dependence, such as concept. If you believe thing arise from self, other, no cause, arise from creator, then all the concept going to, eliminate it, going to be eliminated because we realize dependent arising. If you don't understand dependent arising, then all the misperception always with us. Such as concept as self arising cannot withstand analyzing about dependent arising. So this reasoning, what reasoning? Arising from dependent is the reasoning of dependent origination. Reps to sheds the entire mistake of false view. So here we can see how it is very important to realize, to understand the dependent origination. Once we really realize dependent origination, then all the false view going to, perish, going to eliminates. So from the Pasangika, according to the Pasangika tenets, actual the Buddha Shakyamuni thoughts is thought about dependent arising. The next sentence, so why we are in samsara? Why we have so many sufferings and problems? Then the next sentence is about ordinary beings are changed by conceptualization. So ordinary beings like us, ordinary beings are changed, like it has been totally enveloped into or by conceptualization. The yogi, the arha, the arya, the arhato, who do not conceptualize because free, the wise have said that the very cessation of the conceptualization is the fruit of refined analysis. This sentence is explaining us why we have such a lot of sufferings, why all the yogis, they're mostly free from sufferings. Therefore, the first sentence, ordinary beings are changed by conceptualizations. That means we ordinary beings totally tied with the change, which is the conceptualization, concept of how things arise from self. Yogi who do not conceptualize, the yogi don't have the concept about things arise from self, things arise from other, things arise from both, things arise from independently. They don't have this kind of concept. Therefore, they are free. So if we really wish to, be free, wish to free from suffering, we need to break the change, the wrong concept, how things exist. The wise have said, the Buddha have said, that the very cessation of conceptualization is the fruit of refined analysis. So when we do very refined analysis about how things exist, then all the misconception going to eliminate. We thought ordinary beings are changed by conceptualization. Yogi who do not conceptualize because free, they don't have the concept of independent entity. The next sentence, 118. So analysis in the treatise is not out of fondness for debate. It expounds suggestness because it is the end at freedom. If other philosophical systems are undone in the course of expounding suggestness, however, this is not a fault. So exactly when we read, the Madhyamika, all the texts composed by Nagarjuna, composed by Chandrakirti, composed by Buddha Palita, you can see from beginning to end, they have a lot of debates, lot of reasoning, lot of arguments. All that they have all this many kinds of debates, many kind of arguments, because they like to do debate. They are very, just like to do debate. No. Therefore, analysis in the treatise is not out of fondness of debates. Therefore, what? It expounds suggestness means emptiness. Emptiness. Because it's aimed at freedom. That means all the treatise has so many different, debates, many debates. All the debates, all the reasoning, all the logics is mainly for what is the aim at the freedom. Freedom. So the ignorant is a look like, very solid rock. Due to the ignorance, so we have all these problems. So we need to break, we need to destroy the ignorance through using all the logics, all the debates, all the reasoning. All the logics and reasoning debates are only aimed for freedom. Analysis in the treatise is not out of fondness of debates. It expounds suggestness because it's aimed at freedom. When they expound emptiness, then if other philosophical systems are undone. So when we study about the truth, nature, emptiness, then many philosophical systems, for example, Chitta Mantra school, the Swatantra school, all the school you can see, so we have to reject. So therefore, if other philosophical systems are undone in the course of expound suggestness, however, this is not a false. For example, somebody has a serious illness. The doctor knows simple medicine cannot cure the disease, the sickness. Therefore, the doctor need to do serious operation, need to cut, many parts of the body. Therefore, in order to free from suffering, in order to achieve liberation, we need to realize emptiness. So all the Vasangikas master to expound emptiness. When they expound emptiness, they have to reject many philosophical systems That means this is okay. This is not a false. Then now you can see, two kind of, like schools. One, we must follow. One school we must reject. So when we follow the Pasangika school, we should not have an attachment about the Pasangika school. When we reject, rest of the schools, rest of the school views, we should not have a sense of, hatred. Therefore, next sentence, 119, attachment to one's own view and likewise aversion for other views. All of this is just a thought. So this is very important advice. So when we seriously follow Pasangika, then slowly we generate attachment, sense of really liking the Pasangika view. When we reject, rest of the school views, then we have a sense of dislike. We generate angry. This is wrong. Likewise, we follow, as a Buddhist, we follow Buddha teaching. We follow Buddha Shakyamuni. We must have a pure respect to Buddha and his teaching, but should not have an attachment. We should not attach to the Buddha, to the teachings. Likewise, same way, some of you have a very particular, teacher. So you must have a pure respect to your teacher, but we should not attach. You should not have an attachment to your guru and your teacher. So if you have a sense of attachment to the teaching, sense of attachment to the guru, then it looks like the medicine supposed to cure the sickness, but the medicine become poison for the sickness. Therefore, attachment to one's own view, and likewise, aversion for other views. All of this is just thoughts. Therefore, it is by eliminating attachment and aversion and engaging in analysis that one swiftly gain freedom. So when you have an attachment to the teaching is supposed to reduce attachment, not supposed to cause to increase attachment. The teaching cause to reduce anger, not cause to generate anger. Therefore, the teaching, all the logics, all the reasonings, they are only for eliminating attachment and aversion and engaging in analysis that one swiftly gain freedom. So when we do analysis about dependent origination, dependence, then all the wrong views going to eliminate. We swiftly gain freedom from the misconcept. So this is kind of conclusion about from beginning from the sixth bhumi till here. So from beginning of the sixth bhumi till here, mainly explain the emptiness of the phenomena. Emptiness of the phenomena. So we need to realize emptiness of the phenomena. We need to depend on all the logics and reasonings. So Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti, Buddha Palida, they have a lot of logics and reasoning and debates. All the debates and logics and reasonings are mainly for freedom from suffering. not to cause any attachment and desire, right? So when we follow Buddha teaching, yes, we must have a very pure respect. We should not attach. So when we reject, so for example, as a Buddhist, we don't accept, we're not able to believe in the Creator. Then the other tradition who believe in Creator, who follow this kind of concept, we should not have a sense of dislike. We should not have a sense of aversion. So in the one hand, we follow Buddha teaching. We're talking about freedom, free from suffering, free from cause of suffering. In the other hand, you always generate a lot of negative thoughts for other, religion, tradition. That means in the one hand, you are taking healthy food. In the other hand, you are drinking unhealthy drink. Then why you need to, why you are taking the healthy food? Because other hand, you are taking unhealthy drink. It doesn't make sense. Right? Then next, the sentence number 120 is start to explain emptiness of the self, emptiness of the being. So therefore, all phenomena we categorize into only two, the phenomena and being or person. So why we need to know emptiness of the person, emptiness of the being? Therefore, the 120 is explaining, seeing with their wisdom that all afflictions and all faults stem from identity view, grasping at the perishable collection, and knowing that self is the focus of this identity view, the yogi engage in the negation of selfhood. So this sentence explaining why we need to realize emptiness of the self, right? Seeing with their wisdom, so we have to see, we have to realize using our own wisdom that what we need to know all afflictions, not only afflictions, all faults, stream or cause arise from identity view, which is grasping at the perishable collection. All the afflictions, the faults here refer to the birth, aging, and death. So why we have the birth, then aging, and death? Now it's very easily we're going to understand when we say, the aging become old. We're talking about a physical body. When the physical body change into older, then we say aging. Then death. When we think about death, we're talking about death. Death means the physical body cannot support anymore to survive. Then aging and death, based on the physical body, the truth of suffering. That truth of suffering. So why we have this physical body? Because we took a birth. So we have this kind of physical body. So the aging and death, birth is connected with the karmas. The karma linked with the self-grasping. Self-grasping. Therefore, we have to realize all afflictions, faults, stem from, come from the identity view, the grasping at the perspective collection. And knowing that self is the focus of this identity view, the self-grasping. Self-grasping is a mind. It's a mind. Self-grasping grasps the self as an independent entity. So we have to know the self is the focus of this identity view. The yogi engaged in the negation of selfhood. So the yogi, the practitioner, they negate the notion of self arising. So here, it's not just enough to read the sentence. First, we have to think ourselves. No need to worry how other things arise. Right? Today, everybody reflect on, self, I. So we have been talking about I. Yes, it is true in the one hand. So I exist. I am exist. You are exist. This is true. We cannot really, neglect. We cannot reject. Now we just think about how I exist. Who is really I am? You reflect yourself. I. So let's say I am going. Let's say I am going. Who is going actually? Who is moving? Going your physical body. Moving your physical body. When the physical body moves, then say, I am moving. When the physical body became old, then we say, I am old. When the physical body has the female gender, then say, I am female. The male gender, then say, I am male. But the fact, we know the physical body is not me, not I, not you. So, without the physical body, we cannot establish ourselves. Sometimes we establish I, me, based on the physical body, right? Then on the other hand, when we say, I'm very happy, today I'm very happy, or today I'm not happy at all. When we say, I'm happy, you're not talking about the physical body. You're talking about emotion. When you have a lot of pleasant emotion, happy emotion, then you say, I'm happy. When you have a very unpleasant emotion, unpleasant thoughts, then you say, I am not happy. From that sense, from that point of view, someday we establish I as a mind consciousness. Then, in the other hand, when we say, I am a king, I am a minister, I am a teacher, I am a student, I am a businessman and woman, so we are talking based on the power as a, as a minister, as a business, as a doctor, we establish I based on power, education. So how we can establish I and me? Right? Therefore, when we say, I am going, that time there's three things happen together. The physical body is moving. I am going. Before the physical body moves, there's an intention to move, the physical body move. When the physical body moves, we say, I am going. The body is not I, but that time there's a I, right? I. So we think, when we say, I am going, I'm a doctor, we believe the I's exist independently. Therefore, the independent I is the focus, is the object of the ignorance. When I say independent I didn't say the I. The independent I is the object of self-grasping. Self-grasping, the ignorant grabs I as a self, as an independent. So that reason, then we have all the negative thoughts arise from this misconception. The misconception about I, right? I. Therefore, this sentence is here. Seeing with their wisdom that all afflictions and all faults stem from identity view, grasping that perishable collection, and knowing that self is a focus of identity view, the yogi engaged in the negation of selfhood. The yogi engaged in the negate. What negate? Negate the independent self, not negating the self, not negating I. I exists, not the independent I. The yogi negate the independent I. So this, this sentence is very important. Actually, we everybody have to be very serious. We have to be honest. Why we follow Dharma? Why we practice Dharma? Why we accepted Dharma? Why we believe in Dharma? The Dharma, the teaching, only for freedom. Freedom from suffering. We can be free from suffering if we are free from the afflictions. We can be freed from affliction when we free from self-grasping. Self-grasping. So the self-grasping is the root to arise afflictions. The affliction cause a lot of sufferings and problems. This is the idea or concept, right? Concept. So we need to know, we need to realize the self-grasping mind is the mistaken. For example, you are very thirsty. You are very thirsty. So when you feel thirsty, we always looking, drink, like a juice, what we looking at drink. So when we looking at drink, we need to find that, the real drink. not the mistaken things. If you just soak, drink, the not real water, so thirsty, never going to be satisfied. So we have to be serious. If we really free from suffering, we need to know what is the real cause to arise suffering. From the Buddhist point of view, from the Pasanghika point of view, the self-grasping is the root to cause all the sufferings and problems. Therefore, we cannot be free unless when we realize the self-grasping is a mistaken mind. So we need to negate the notion of self. Right? Therefore, the first sentence, I repeat once more. Seeing with their wisdom that all afflictions and all faults, the faults refer to birth, aging, and death. All of them stem or arise from where? Arise the identity view, the grasping at the perishable collection. So this is the actual explaining. Everything arises from ignorance. And knowing that, what we know, best of knowing all the affliction, all the faults stem from identity view grasping, then the self, make sure the self is not talking about just self, the independent self. Independent self is the focus is the object, object of the self-grasping. Therefore, yogi or practitioner engage in negation. What negate? Negate the selfhood. Selfhood or negate the self, the independent self. Then, so what is the self? What is the I and self? There are so many view from non-Buddhist, view from within the Buddhist schools. The next sentence, 121, the self is the consumer, is according to the non-Buddhist, a consumer, permanent entity, and a known creator. It is devoid of the qualities and innate. This is what the Trishtika is a non-Buddhist postulates. On the basis of slight and minor variation, the Trishtika diverge into different positions. The first two lines is talking about the original view about I from the non-Buddhist school. Then non-Buddhist, there's many different kinds of the non-Buddhist Hindu school. All the school actually, divide from this idea. The self is the consumer, self or I. The self is a permanent entity. The self is a non-creator. The self is a devoid of qualities and the innate. So this concept, this is what the Triptika is referred to the non-Buddhist school, particularly about the Hindu school. Triptika postulates. On that basis, on the basis of slight, minor, variations. The Titika diverge into different, positions. Exactly now you can see in the Buddhist we have our 4 schools. All the 4 schools, divide based on how things exist. Then most of the schools say things exist substantially. Therefore, in order to know the non-Buddhist concept about self, first you need to know the meaning of the first 2 lines. Then their views about self, like the brain woman's child, it is devoid of arising. So such a self simply does not exist. So their view about I or self, it looks like, brain woman child, not exist. Such a self simply does not exist. It also cannot be the basis for grasping at an I. I cannot be claimed to exist even one conventional level. So the non-Buddhist and Buddhist, both of them looking, so what is the focus, object of self-grasping? So now as a Buddhist, when we say I, so according to Buddhist point of view, I is mainly designated based on the 5 aggregates. I is the merely designated based on 5 aggregates. Clear? From non-Buddhist school, the I is not just merely designated based on 5 aggregates, because the I is a permanent, independent consumer. This independent I is the object or focus of the self-grasping. Now you can see Buddhist and non-Buddhist has a big difference how they establish, how they posit the object of self-grasping. So in order to know that, we can use very simple thing, object of attachment. So when we have an attachment is the mind. You could say, the mental factor or consciousness. When the attachment arises, it arises with the object. Attachment always arises based on attractive and beautiful object. Then the beautiful object, the attractive object is the object of attachment. Likewise, so we have an ignorance, the self-grasping. The self-grasping is a consciousness we name ignorance. When the ignorance arises, when the ignorance functions, the function based on our object. So what's the object of self-grasping? Then from Buddhist point of view, based on 5 aggregates, we pursue, that's I. I is only designated based on 5 aggregates. But when the self-grasping focus on I, for the ignorance, the I is an independent I. Focus, right? For the non-Buddhist school, they postulate object of ignorance is in different way. So here, there's a ignorance is just one ignorance from Buddhist point of view, or from Hindu point of view, but there's an argument which one is the object of self-grasping. Self-grasping. The next sentence is 1 to 2. So they reject, the notion of self according to the non-Buddhist school. Since sentence number 1 to 3, since all the various attributes of such a self as proposed in one treatise after another by the Critics are undone. By this logical proof that it is unarisen, which they accept none of the attributes of self remain tenable. So they reject, negate about the view of I and self based on non-Buddhist school. Then 1 to 4. One to 4, 1 to 5 is again continuously negate the concept of I from the non-Buddhist point of view. So based on the non-Buddhist school, they believe I is totally separate from the physical body, from the 5 aggregates. It's totally separate because I is a permanent, according to the non-Buddhist school, I is permanent. I cannot be established based on the 5 aggregates. The 5 aggregates, the physical body is totally separate from the I and self. Right? They totally make separate. Then there's 1 to 4, 1 to 5, they reject the idea, which is the I is totally separate from the physical body. Right? One to 4, 1 to 5. Thus, no self separate from the aggregates exist, for there is no apprehension of self apart from the aggregates. It is also unacceptable to be the basis for the being, I, clinging. For the identity view is person even though unaware of such a self. Those who have spent many aeons in the animal realms and so on do not perceive this unborn permanent entity, yet one sees that I, clinging, operate in the being as well. This is thus no self. This is separate from the aggregates. Right? So non-Buddhists, they establish I is totally separate from the physical body. For them, there's a I, Atma, self. They come from previous life and remain this physical body for, until the death. They continuously go next life without changing. It's totally separate. From Buddhist point of view, when we are humans, say I'm a human being, so we establish as a human based on the human body. The next life, when we become animal, then we say, oh, now I'm an animal. We establish animal based on the animal body. Therefore, I cannot be totally separate cannot establish totally from physical body. But it is not the physical body, but we have to establish the self, I, based on the physical body, based on the consciousness, based on the power. Therefore, we establish, human being or person on different basis. For example, when I say, oh, I'm very fat, we establish the person as a fatty person based on the body. When we say, oh, you are very intelligent, and we establish, we postulate the person as an intelligent based on the mind. So the person cannot be totally separate from the mind, totally separate from the body, not totally separate from the position, but the body is not the person. The mind is not the person, according to Pasangika. But rest of the school, from the Sudanta school, and Chitta Mantra school, and autonomous school, some says we must establish the being as a consciousness. Some say we must establish the being as a physical body. Even though within the Buddhist school, there has a different view about I. So next class, we will study how we establish I, me, based on the 5 aggregates, using the analogy as a chariot, right? So today, we can think seriously, not just follow the teaching, not just follow what Buddha said, we not just believe what Buddha said, we just be honest. First we think how things exist. Okay, how things exist. So you use your own wisdom, answer the question, how things exist, how things arise. Arise from causeless or not? I think everybody will say it is impossible to arise, thing arise causeless. If thing arise causeless, the thing must arise every day, every time, because they didn't need any cause. Then second, is thing arise from self? You can say yes. You may think no. If you may think yes, thing arise from self. Then thing don't need any causes condition to arise, because it's arising self-arising. If you say no, then you must have a reason why a thing cannot arise from self. Then cannot both, but cannot arise from other. Please you remember what does mean arise from other. The meaning arise from other is the result, the effect caused by substantial cost. Substantially existing cause produce substantial effort. This is the meaning of arising from other. Then second part, so we learn, yes, things are not arising from self, other, both causeless. Then how things arise, exist? Mainly through dependence. Mainly through dependence. When we truly realize everything arise through only dependence, then we can be free from all kinds of misperception. So in order to realize dependent arising, we need to use reasoning and logics. All the reasoning and logics, which is expound all the treatise, is mainly for introducing emptiness, not out of, a kind of like debate, mainly for freedom. Then also we learn, so when we follow Pasangika school, yes, it is good to follow Pasangika school, but we should not have an attachment. In order to realize emptiness, we need to reject, the view from the, other lower schools, view from those schools. When we reject, when we, negate their views, we should not have sense of aversion. Because the Buddha teaching is not it is reducing attachment and anger. It's not for generating attachment and anger. Then later we learn all the afflictions and faults. Faults refer to the birth, aging, and death. Everything arises from self-grasping. Self-grasping. So we need to negate the self-grasping. So we need to eliminate self-grasping based on negating the object of self-grasping. So what is the object? Focus object is here, similar meaning. What is the object of self-grasping? So the independent I. The independent I is the object of self-grasping. Self-grasping. For example, the attractive and beautiful object is the object of attachment. The ugliness, unattractive objects are the object of anger. Likewise, the independent I is the focus, is the object of self-grasping. So the yogi negate the independent I, not the I. Therefore, when we think about I am going, we must remind three things. The intention, moving the body, and at the same time we say, I am going, I am coming. The I, which is we think I am going, I'm coming. The I merely designated based on the five aggregates. The I is not independent I. The self-grasping grabs I as an independent entity. I is I. The yogi can see I is merely designated. The I is only dependent arising. The ordinary person perceives the I as an independent. The I is not depending on anything else. It's a very solid kind of independent entity. Therefore, we are in samsara because we don't realize, the dependent I. We always perceive, we always believe the I is an independent I. Then second, so from the Buddhist, so non-Buddhist point of view, what is the object of self-grasping? Then from the non-Buddhist school point of view, the permanent, the consumer, so and so is the object of self-grasping. Then Chandrakirti reject the notion of the I from the non-Buddhist point of view. From their point of view, I is a totally separate from five aggregates. Without relying on five aggregates, they can establish I. So from Buddhist point of view, we cannot accept the view. When we say we cannot accept, it doesn't mean because we follow Buddha, we follow Chandrakirti. Because their view is totally illogical. Illogical, right? So therefore we cannot accept. When I say we cannot accept because it is totally illogical, that means in our life, something we believe, still, if you still believe, even though you know it is totally illogical, that means you are quite, like a stupid. If it's a logical, makes, is totally logical, you can accept. It's totally illogical, we cannot accept. As a human, we always establish the being, the human, based on five aggregates. The five aggregates as a gross, subtle, very subtle. This moment we all establish as a person based on the gross five aggregates. Yes, any also five aggregates is the basis of the person. So in order to know it, just use the chariot, right? Chariot like a ox wheel, chariots, or like a car. We can use the car. Yes, we commonly believe, oh, there's a car. Car is coming, car is going, the car is parked there. Car. How we establish the car? The car must be established based on all its parts. Without each of the parts, we cannot establish the car. But all the parts are not the car. The car is not, cannot be all the parts. Without all the parts, we cannot find the car. We cannot establish the car. The car, the part is separate, but not totally different entity. So, in order to, realize ourselves how I, me establish, first we use the car, how we establish the car. So when we look at ourselves, we can say there's a car. So when we are inside the car, then say I'm in the car. When you look at inside the steering, the handle, the things, each of them cannot be a car. Yeah. Therefore, yes, all the five aggregates, any kinds of aggregates which is connect with the consciousness, we can say the basis of the I, basis of self. Any questions, Sunam?
高登同学，请问你有进一步的问题吗？ No further question, Geshe.
Okay.
Geshe,
yes.
There's a question from Sweet Kim. Sweet Kim, can you please ask your question? Your mic is unmuted.
Hi, morning, Geshe.
Good morning.
Geshe, I'd like to ask about the verse 121.
Okay.
What does it mean by self is consumer, then non-creator, devoid of qualities, and innate? And why does the Tripitaka postulate a self based on these few qualities?
Here you must know this is how the Titika, the non-Buddhist school, how they established I. Okay, it's not talking about, from the Buddhist point of view.
Yeah, correct.
From the non-Buddhist point of view, self is a consumer. So when we say, consumer, when we say, oh, I'm eater or mover, consumer, then the consumer, the self is not just consumer, the I is a permanent. Then the I is not the creator, is a creature. Creator is a Ashura, right? Ashura. Yes, it's mainly talking, from the non-Buddhist point of view. Therefore, this is what the Triptika, postulate on the basis of the slight and manner. So that's how they establish I from the non-Buddhist school. Yes, next question.
It's a bit strange, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you consume something, you're supposed to grow fat, right? So how could you be permanent?
Okay. Therefore, consumer doesn't mean, eater, maybe actor, agent and actor, agent, consumer. So when we say the person is fat and the person is slim, we talking about the body, right? So according to Buddhist point of view, yes, when the body becomes fat, we can say, oh, you are fat. When the body became slim, we can say, oh, you are slim. Because from Buddhist point of view, the person, the being, established based on the 5 aggregates, based on the physical, based on the body. For the non-Buddhist school, the self, the I, the Atma, nothing to do with the 5 aggregates. It's totally separate. Therefore, we cannot think, that it's a consumer, the self can be fat. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Got clear?
Okay.
Okay, any question?
Geshe, one question from Nozum.
Mm-hmm.
Is over-negation same as nihilism?
Yes. Therefore, we talk about middle way, right? So when we need to know the truth. When we say you need to tell the truth, when we say you must tell the truth, so that means we are saying you should not, exaggerate. You should not really minimize. Whatever you see, you must tell that. You must, whatever you see, you just tell. So if we negate, over negate, then we're going to negate the phenomena. So when we negate the phenomena, then we already fall into nihilation. When we establish the phenomena, if we over-establish, over-exaggerate, then we fall into, absolutism. So you are right. If we over-negate, then there's a dangers to fall into nihilation. Therefore, finding the middle way is not easy at all. I told, many times, when we establish the book, so we must establish the book. When we establish book, at the same time, we establish the ultimate book. So when we negate the ultimate book, inherent book, at the same time, we negate the book, because we don't know how to negate the independent book, ultimate book. Therefore, over-negation, not enough negation is a problem. Therefore, in the ancient time in Tibet, they say all the conventional phenomena no exist. Because when they negate the negation, at the same time, they negate the conventional phenomena, they over-negate. Says, yes, you are right. If we overly negate, then we're going to fall into nihilism. Any question?
So far for the English participants, none at this point in time.
Okay, then, so I just, read few sentences from
没有问题了。
the pure eloquence. So what is the ultimate unreality of thing? I think I have to use different. What is the ultimate unreality of things? It is those dependently originated things which are unreal because of ultimate unreality. Why so? So, what is the ultimate reality of thing? Your answer just say, those dependent originating things. The dependent originating thing refer to the other power are unreal because of the ultimate reality. Why so? Now the explanation. I teach that among things, the ultimate is, maybe say, not ultimate reality. It is the ultimate unreality. What is the, okay, I will ask you the question, you answer. What is the ultimate unreality of things? It is those dependently originating things which are unreal because of ultimate unreality. Why so? Right? The answer is here. I teach that among things, there's three things, right? The other power, established phenomena, then what do you call that? Three things. Among the three things, three nature, among things, the ultimate is the pure object. Ultimate is the pure object. And since the relative nature is not pure object, the relative nature, dependently originated things are synonymous. Right? I teach that among things, the ultimate is the pure object. Ultimate is the pure object. And since relative nature refer to the dependently originated things. The relative nature is not pure object. It is called ultimate unreality. So, the dependently originated phenomena are ultimate unreality because those are not pure object. The emptiness is the only pure object. The truly established phenomena is the pure object. So what is the differences between pure and impure object? Now you can see the next sentence. The relative is called, the relatives refer to the independently originated things. The relatives is called ultimate unreality because it does not exist in the ultimate reality. For if we justify the ultimate and meditation on it, so when we meditate on the relative, unreality, ultimate unreality, defilement will come to end. But if we objectify the relatives and meditate on, it cannot purify themselves, ourselves, on the defilement. So that if we meditate on the originated phenomena, then the defilement cannot be eliminated. When we meditate on the truly established phenomena or emptiness, then defilement going to eliminate it. Therefore, the dependently originated phenomena are ultimate unreality, because if we meditate on it, then we cannot purify the defilements. In that case, why not interpret the imagined phenomena? Do you remember imagined phenomena? Then other power, established phenomena. So in all the phenomena, we conclude into three reality. So here, among the three, the dependently originated phenomena is ultimate unreality. Because if we meditate on dependently originated phenomena, we cannot purify the defilements. When we meditate on emptiness, the defilement can be purified. Therefore, dependently originated phenomena are ultimate unreality. Then there's a doubt, question. So this is the case, right? In that case, why not interpret the imagined also as ultimate unreality? Then why we cannot interpret the imagined phenomena also ultimate unreality? Although this would be appropriate insofar as the imagined is not the pure object either, still only the relative is established as an ultimate unreality and not the imagined phenomena, because of the power of the relative when objectified to stop erroneous constructive thoughts. Why? Although there is no such as doubt with regard to imagined. So simply, I can put the meaning into a very simple way. The dependently originated phenomena is ultimate unreality. But we cannot establish the imagined phenomena ultimate unreality. There's a doubt. When you meditate on emptiness of the book, right? When you meditate on emptiness of the book, then the defiled mind going to purify. Then when you meditate on emptiness of the book, many people think the meditated mind can perceive the book. So in order to clarify this doubt, so when you meditate on the emptiness of the book, you are meditating only emptiness of the book, not the book. The book is unreality ultimate. Only the emptiness of the book is the only pure object. Because when you meditate on emptiness of the book, then defilements going to eliminate. If you meditate on book, the defilement cannot be eliminated because the book is impure object. Then somebody has a doubt, then why the imagined phenomena cannot establish as a ultimate unreality? Then the answer is the imagined phenomena, this context, the imagined phenomena is the negation. So there's no doubt. When you meditate on emptiness, there's no doubt the imagined phenomena also became object of the meditation. But there's a doubt. when you do meditation on emptiness of the book, then you think the book also, object of meditation. So this is a, kind of conclusion about what is the ultimate reality of things. So since today, so we're not going to use this book anymore. So next class we continue to go with the entry into middle way. So then since New Year, so then we only focus the special insight about the emptiness from Lamrim Chemu. We just follow Lamrim Chemu. Then I hope within 2001 or 21, so I can complete the Lamrim. So understanding of Dharma and practicing Dharma is totally different thing, two different things. Understanding Dharma is very easy. Everybody can understand. The practice of Dharma is not easy. Therefore, when we say, when I say I'm going to finish, the Lamrim Chemu, we just finish the roughly study about Lamrim. It doesn't mean you complete your Dharma practice. So therefore, please, practice as much as you can when you study Dharma. Then also, sometime maybe we need to use the intermediate middle way when we study end of the Lamrim Chemu, particularly about the 18 emptiness. Okay, and thank you so much for attending the class. And I hope you can get little benefit from this class. May have a happy Sunday. And thank you. So please do the dedication, dedicate all the merit of becoming Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Also dedicate the merit to have a long life, all the lineage gurus. Live long, particularly the 14th Dalai Lama. Also, so we're going to end, this year very soon. Please dedicate all the merit to have a happy, harmonious, and successful 2021.